What's up, everyone? Mitchell J, the Scaredy Cat Guide, and Bitcoin is continuing to consolidate as it dances around the long-term uptrend line. And basically, to zoom in more, I mean, you can see we are essentially consolidating right here in this, what is that, 79 to, and it's about a 500 point range that we're just bouncing back and forth in. So, we made that initial big move, consolidated, tried to push up, gave it back, and leveled out there. So, I mean, in terms of a short-term view, this 79, 78 and change level is kind of a support, and then the upside here with 83, 84 is kind of the resistance. In that this is just a little range we're in now, and we're going to either break, like we need to break out or break down. So until we get either above this price point or below this price point, we're going to continue to knock around, knock around. So technically, there is no bullish or bearish call right now in regards to the near term. So if we can essentially push through and get above 8,400, then again, we're making a run at 9K back to these highs. If for some reason we break down and push through 7,800, then most likely we're going to come down and test this 74, 75 area. So again, it's all about just nearest price points, having an idea. Obviously, if you want to have a bigger picture, then the real true support is down around 66, 65, and if we were to break down, then that could be the ultimate downside target. As far as the upside, you're looking at 9K, and then possibly you're making a run at this 200-day moving average, which kind of coincides with this top and previous bottom up here around, what is this, 9,600. So those are our price points, essentially. If we scroll out and get a bigger view, obviously, these big tops here back around 11,500. That's the ultimate target. But in order to do that, I mean, we need positive price action. We need to continue to, like, this is a higher high from here. So now the question is, are we going to just consolidate and push again and be able to make another higher high, let's say even at 9K? But these are things that need to happen if we have any hope to get back up to 11.5. So the good news is, though, I mean, we're out of like any kind of downtrend. So you see, these down sloping, like boom, we're out of anything that was a downtrend or descending channel. So that's good. So there's nothing wrong with, after we kind of busted out of that downward slope, seeing some consolidation. I'd have no problems if we continue to consolidate the rest of the week and then make a move higher. I'm fine with that. I have no problems waiting. So don't look at this consolidation as a bad thing. At the same time, I'll tell you right now, the other coins are outperforming Bitcoin. Ethereum, especially Litecoin in the last couple of days, and even coins like Neo, they've been making upward moves over the last 48 hours, while Bitcoin really hasn't. So let's take a look at Litecoin real quick. If you remember, I think it was my last video, I talked about how it was trying to break out of this big descending triangle. So it made an attempt, kind of failed, and closed below it, and then the next day, boom, there it goes. And now you see we're getting some follow through as it is green on this new candle. This daily candle is only a few hours old, but the bottom line is we have pushed through, and hopefully we're making a run now at the 200-day moving average around 151. Obviously, the next top is around 170. So those are your upside targets. The 200-day at 151, and then buck 69, buck 70 here. As far as the downside, it's the same thing. If we were to pull back, really two things could happen. It could pull back and essentially test this line, and then if it holds, that's kind of a confirmation of a breakout, and most likely it'll bounce and maybe go after that 200-day after that. So don't be afraid of a little bit of a pullback as long as it kind of holds like a buck 25 or above. Obviously, as this line comes down, it can get lower, but in the end, we still have this big base here around 110 down to 100. So those are your downside and your upsides. Let's take a look at Ethereum real quick. Ethereum, after making a big move, it's kind of doing what Bitcoin did. It's like bouncing around here in this little range, this little consolidation. And then I would have liked to see it make a run at this high first. I mean, it came short about 35 points, 40 points, and then consolidate. But it is what it is. Maybe it needs to gear up to make a run at this prior top, even though it's not much higher. Either way, same thing. It's kind of formed a little bit of a base here. Now, I wouldn't call this like a solid support, but at the same time, you can see, I mean, it held 500 the last 4 days. That was the low, the low, the low. So, you know, I would probably, if I was like in an active trade, I would use that probably as a downside stop loss, especially if I'm up in terms of not giving back a lot of profits, because obviously the next real support's down here, 100 points below. So 500 is becoming a little bit of a price point. So we will see. Hopefully it can maintain above 500, continue to progress higher. I think that's really it. So, I'm just basically at this point looking at a bunch of cryptos. I don't have any specific lessons for you on this one. It's more just some technical analysis. Um, Neo something I'm in. I'm actually hoping we can make a push up to 75 and even up to these prior highs here at 77. And we shall see what happens. You can ignore these little lines. That's from the hourly chart. But yeah, I think that's kind of the deal for now. So we will see if Bitcoin can push higher or lower out of this range, and then we will act accordingly. Anyway, I'll drop a link in the show notes for the free Bitcoin ebook with all the newbie information, and it also will lead you to the crypto course that teaches the support and resistance principles I talk about. Anyway, see you on the next video.